Hi, it's Patricia Wooster here, and today we're going to talk about what Brene Brown taught me about telling stories. So let's get started. If you don't know who Brene Brown is, she's an author of a lot of books and a professor. She's been on stage with Oprah Winfrey many times. She's got a Netflix show, and she's pretty much known as the expert on vulnerability. And she is a master at using just the most simple stories to connect with her audience and make a huge impact. And I'm going to start out by giving you an example. So in one of her latest books, and by this time, she's traveled the world and she has all kinds of amazing stories that she could be sharing with her audience that makes her look really important. But instead, she chose to focus on her reader. So in this scenario, she has just come from a swim with her husband in the morning. And she says to him, "This is so great. I love that we're doing this. I feel so close to you." And he replied, "Yep, good swim." So this flustered her because she was trying to open up to her husband. So she tried the same approach again, saying something very similar. And she got the same reaction from her husband. She goes on to explain in this chapter that she was trying to be vulnerable and open up and create a real connection with her husband, and he just wasn't getting it. Now, I think we can all put ourselves in that situation. We can all think of times that either with a friend or a loved one, we tried to slowly ease into an important conversation and they just didn't pick up where we were coming from. So I think at this point in her book, her reader is reading, they're nodding along, they're feeling that pain and struggle that she's having with. And at the same time, we're empathizing with her husband who really has no idea that he's hurt her feelings. And that's why sharing these small moments where everyone can sort of plug in and in their brain they can think of instances that are very similar that happen to them are so important. Because you're at the beginning of your book. Your audience doesn't really know who you are. They chose your book because they had a problem or challenge. They thought your book may offer a solution to what they were looking for. They're really not that concerned about what your bio looks like at this point. And there's so many other places that you can put that information. You'll have an About Me page somewhere in your book. It'll be on your website. You've got LinkedIn profiles, all kinds of places that once your audience cares about you, they can go look for that information. And speaking of Oprah earlier, let's look at her career. When she had a daily talk show, if she would have just sat up there every day and just talked about her life and her houses and how she was just in wardrobe and she has makeup people and chefs, would you have felt like she understood who you are or what your challenges were? Probably not. But over the years, when she was interviewing people, she slowly trickled out her story until we knew that she struggled with her weight, that her childhood had been less than perfect, how difficult her rise was to her career. And by the time she quit her show, we all had let Oprah into our hearts. We all felt like we knew who she was, and we felt like she knew who we were. And that's what's so important when you're writing your book. So think of those everyday occurrences, those things that make sense for what your number one result is that you're delivering to your reader. Plug those stories in. Now, if you have a big story that just happens to work, I'm not saying you should hide that from your book. But what I am saying is the more readers you can get nodding along when they're reading your book, the more of a connection that you're making with them. If you like this tip and you'd like to get others, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And to join in the conversation, go to Facebook and join the Write to Publish community, where we answer and ask questions, we collaborate, and we give a lot of great advice on how to write, publish, and leverage your book. Until next time, remember, small intentional actions lead to big activities. Talk to you soon. Bye.